So, what can be done to reduce bullying? And honestly, I don't think that bullying will ever go away completely. Um, it's just one of those unfortunate things that humans do when they want to feel power over another human being. But I do think that bullying can be reduced. And I think that in order to reduce bullying, there has to be awareness. So I'm going to start with the students. If you are a student and you're being bullied, the first thing that I suggest is to try to avoid that situation. Um, the case in Wilmington, Delaware, I'm not blaming the little girl at all for what happened. Um, she went to resolve the issue in the bathroom with the girls. She knew that there was an issue. She knew the girls were in the bathroom, and she went to try to resolve it. And unfortunately, it led to this horrible fight that ended with her demise. And again, I'm not blaming her at all. In fact, I commend her for wanting to try to resolve the issue. But if you're in a situation where you're being bullied, um, try to avoid the person at all costs. And a bathroom is definitely a place where bullies seek out their victims because there are no cameras in the bathroom. And it's a place that it's going to take a while for a teacher or administrator to get into to help. So just be crafty. Try to stay away from that person. It doesn't mean you're scared. It doesn't mean you're a punk. It doesn't mean any of that. What it means is that you are trying to be a student who's trying to be in school for what you're there for, and that's to get your academics done, not to fight. So avoid that person at all costs so you can avoid the drama. Try to ignore. And I know it's hard. If somebody is constantly teasing you or making comments, try your best to ignore them. Many bullies will stop once they realize that they're not getting a reaction from you. Some will persist, but most will stop. So that's just one tactic to kind of bully proof yourself, so that they'll end up moving on to someone else, unfortunately. But ignoring is a wonderful way to end a lot of that. Tell your parents. Now I know that snitching is a big deal in many communities. Many kids feel that being a snitch is worse than anything, but it's really important to let your parents know, because again, going back to the situation in Delaware, um, having more people who are aware of that situation could prevent any future issues like that. Um, tell an adult, just so they will know, just so they can talk to someone at the school or possibly talk to the parents of the kids who are bullying you. Just let them know. It's just best practice if you're bullied. And also tell an adult, a teacher, an administrator, a counselor. You can try to be anonymous, and you can just say, listen, I don't want you to state where this is coming from, but there is a bullying problem at the school, and this person is doing a lot of the bullying. Just to alert the staff that there's a problem so they can look into it. And a good staff is going to look into it. A good staff is going to go to that student and try to intervene and try to find a way to get them to have better relationships. Another thing, keep a journal. And the reason I say that is, if it ever comes to a situation where there's ever anything legal that happens, it's best to have a journal so that you can have everything that they've done to you documented, and you can pull that information out and show that the person was indeed bullying you. And not only is it going to help you legally, but it's also going to help you to be able to get your thoughts out so that you can cope with bullying the best way and the healthiest way. Be brave and be strong. One thing that I found, many bullies are all talk and no action. All talk and no action by themselves. Now, when they're with a group of people, that's when they tend to do things. Just like my situation, no one said anything to me when I was at the fast food restaurant. But when I got to school and that girl was there with all of her friends, I mean, it's like 4 or 5 of them, then they decided to attack me. So, again, deep down inside, many of these people are scared, abused, unsure, insecure, stand up for yourself. Do not let them see that you're afraid. Now, that doesn't mean that you say, okay, hey, let's fight. I'm not saying that at all. But there is nothing wrong with saying, I'm not scared of you. You don't scare me. You don't intimidate me. But I don't have time to get in this drama with you, and walk away. The best thing to do is stand up for yourself, but you don't have to fight to do that. And the next thing is get help. So if you're going through this bullying, seek out a counselor. And this is not saying that there's anything wrong with you. It's just saying that bullying is something that is very traumatic, and it's best to talk to a professional about it so that you can just sort of look at yourself and see what you may want to do differently in the future. Not to say that you played a part or any of the bullying is your fault, but it's just always good to talk about what happened and process it and try to find ways to be bully proof in the future. Now, what can parents do? If your child is a victim of bullying, first believe them. Many parents think that being bullied is just sort of like a rite of passage. Parents went through it, grandparents went through it, and they survived. And, their thought is, well, hey, I'm fine, I'm doing well. Well, it's not a rite of passage, and it's not normal, and it's not fine. And the best thing to do is to believe your child and try to find ways to help your child. So one, your child knows that you support them, and two, the child knows proper ways to deal with bullying. Don't blame your child for it. I remember when I was going through my situation with being bullied, a family member said to me, well, maybe you do think you're cute. And I was just like, blown, completely blown, like, oh my gosh, people really think they can read my mind. If they only knew that, back then I wanted to look like Salt and Pepper and Pebbles and Janet Jackson. I did not want to have this face. So I definitely did not think I was cute, but it hurt me because a family member kind of made it my fault. So please don't do that to your child. Even if you know that they're doing things that may annoy others, the best thing to do is to try to get them help through counseling so they can learn just some additional social skills. Try to reach out to the parents involved. If you live in a small community or in a community where you may know who the parents are, try to reach out to them and see if there's some way that you can initiate some sort of resolution between the kids. Involve the school in mediation. So reach out to the school counselor, the school administrator. They are there to help you. They are there to try to resolve things among students. They do not want any issues. They don't want any big fights. They don't want anything that involves the media or the news coming out to the school. So they're going to be more than willing to help you resolve the issue of bullying with the students. And then if none of that works, then look into getting some legal help or police help. Restraining orders are possible. Legal help is possible. The thing to do is to reach out to an attorney and see if you can get like maybe a free consultation or a low-cost consultation just to find out if there is a case, and then pursue it if no one is helping you with the issue of bullying. Now, parents, if you have a child and you suspect that they are a bully, then you've got to really do better. You got to do better as a parent. The first thing to do is to try to teach kindness. Again, like I said earlier in the video, kindness is something that we're losing as a culture, as American culture. And some people may say we never really had it, but I would say that things have gotten a lot worse lately. I just heard of a case of a little girl who, a 6 or 7-year-old girl was riding her bike, and she fell off her bike, hurt herself, and there were some older kids nearby. And again, this is a little girl. The older kids were boys, and they proceeded to beat her pretty badly, and then threw her in a trash dumpster. I just don't understand. I don't see how someone could be that heartless to treat a little girl like that. I just don't know where that comes from. So it's very important to teach kindness. And you may think, parents, you may think that you're doing that, but I want you to try to reiterate it with your kids so they understand what kindness is, what friendship is, what appropriate behaviors you expect, and what you will not tolerate. And that means letting them know that you will not tolerate bullying or any type of violent behavior at school or at home. So it's just a matter of being a parent and standing up and saying, this I will not tolerate, and this you will not do this, or there will be punishments and consequences. Another thing is to limit trash TV. And I'm not going to blame reality TV for everything, because when I was bullied, there was no reality TV. So we can't say that, reality TV is just taking the world, down. That's just not the case. Bullying is an age-old problem. It's been around forever. But what you can do is limit your children watching shows that show aggression, because studies show that when children see aggressive behaviors, they become desensitized to it. So it's just something to think about as a parent. I know that you can't control everything that they watch. Sometimes they go over their friends' houses and they watch things, but in your house you can definitely set the standard. And have spirituality. And I'm not telling you to have a certain faith. I am a Christian, but whatever faith you believe in, try to get your child involved in that so that they will learn the principles and the discipline that's involved in your faith. Just about every faith has principles and guidelines that deal with kindness and love and forgiveness. I can't think of a religion that doesn't highlight those qualities. So if you don't have a spiritual, anything spiritual that you're into, you may want to seek that out so you can have that for yourself and pass it on to your child, and you both will definitely have better lives.